Live journals. Well, yeah, there's links to VK on there, I noticed. But we're going to go live. And my mic's live, and I'm going to make my face live. Hey, my face is live. Welcome. It's Sunday morning. I think it's Sunday morning. Maybe Saturday never ended. I don't know. Does anything ever end? Does time actually exist? I don't know. This is Art of Rock, and we're going to talk about making music and keeping you going, because it's very important. Every Sunday here at this time, I think it's 9 o'clock in LA. That's all I know. Join us here on ANGELSPIT'S Twitch, and we're going to talk really cool stuff, because the conversation often goes to crazy places, and let the rant happen, I say. This is made possible by I was about to say Australia's ANGELSPIT'S Patreon. Maybe we should start doing Patreons for countries. But this is ANGELSPIT'S Patreon, and many of the people here are from ANGELSPIT'S Patreon, and sincerely, you keep me going. Thank you so much, and we're going to keep each other going. On the subject of that, you can pre-order ANGELSPIT'S new album, and Patreon members are going to be getting a free digital copy. Go join there, because there's a whole bunch of stuff, and you can buy Diesel Priest or not, because like I said, Patreon members are getting a free copy, and you're also getting a free copy of Sequence 1 Glass Jar, which is coming out really soon. I think we kickstart that tomorrow. I don't really know, but more on that when I do know. If you're looking for some killer tracks, excuse me, from bands you need to know about, many of the bands are here. There's a Spotify link. So go listen to those bands, and if you like them, add them to your playlist. Because everything counts, man, in large amounts. And if you like it non-stop, you need MTV TV. Because they're playing 24 hours of non-stop dark, goth, industrial, alternative, weird, freaky shit on Twitch. Go check it out. And if you're in a band, they will play your video. And if the video is not up to scratch, they'll give you tricks and tips on how to make the video better. These people are here to help you. So watch it on Twitch, and there's a video, there's a link, an email address, because it's bloody awesome. They also have a Patreon, and this is a very good Patreon to jump on with, because there are costs involved in keeping a 24-hour TV thing going. That's it. That's all there is in the whole world. Mark, you had a question about how do you know when a track's finished?
Yeah, that's pretty much the question. So I think I'm 90% done with my remix, but I don't know when to say, okay, I don't know. Is there just, how do you know when you're like, okay, this is done, this is as good as it's probably going to get for this time or with my current skill set?
Okay, I'm going to throw that one open. So if anybody wants to, throw in their 2 cents worth, because everybody here faces this issue. Please go. Vince, what you got?
All right. I'm going to give you what my approach on this is, because I have zero formal training of any kind.
Me too.
I've been doing this on my own and just kind of teaching myself the software for like 14 years now. But I start with making sure I've got all parts of the track I want in it. Or does it have everything you want in it first? And then you got to make sure all your levels aren't over or under where you want them. Do you have things that are highlighted in the places you want them highlighted, that are a little more subdued in places you don't want them to pop out as much, as far as, sounds and transitions goes in the track? And overall, your biggest thing is going to be probably the most, well, I don't know about the biggest, but the most difficult for me is making sure it's loud enough overall. Because I don't notice, because I do everything very quietly to start with, and I don't notice if it's loud enough till I get to the end stages and I start playing it back in the car. But you need to make sure all your levels are good and you have all the sounds you want in the track. And does it fit your vibe? That's kind of a big one, because if it doesn't, then you're not going to be happy with it.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's not much to go on, but that's the information I have.
No, everything's something.
No, that's great, man. This is really good because this is going to be a whole bunch of really good opinions because I have a degree in music and they never taught me, oh, you'll know it's done when, da-da-da. John, I want to hear your thoughts. And what's with the Moog? Hey, everybody, John's got a new Moog. He just took it out of the box. Bastard.
It is new to me. It is not actually new. I bought it used off of Craigslist yesterday. So this is a Werkstatt 01, which it came out probably 7 years ago, I think, for some conference. And they did a second version of it in 2020, and then a couple weeks ago announced that they have discontinued it. So they're doing kind of a fire sale on them. So $160 will get you this with a CV expander from all major big box music retailers. But I got a better deal off of Craigslist for that and a sequencer. That's not what we're talking about right now, though. So I'll geek out about that a little bit later. To answer Mark's question, when are things done? It's when I find just when it kind of tells a story, and I can sit down and listen to it, and it goes, it's there's the start, middle, and end, or some kind of conflict. Something happens and then it resolves. Because I am very good at creating standalone things that sound neat and don't say shit. It's just there. It's just and it doesn't really say anything. And it's and I have problem with art that says nothing. It's pretty to look at, but you gain nothing from it. It's not saying that everything that you create needs to be a perfect masterpiece gem. If anything, that creates this kind of paralysis. What's more important is does this say something coherent? Does it go somewhere? Does it have kind of an arc? It's set up in a resolution. It's even if you just do the ABA or ABA CAB type of music structure, it doesn't. You don't have to perfectly adhere to that, but just as long as there's more than one thing that is happening. And then another part of it is, it's when you have gotten to a state where there is an ending. And it's okay, even if it's just a fade out, whatever. You've gotten to a point. Listen to it out of context. It's in your studio, your safe space with your monitors, headphones, whatever type of situation that you have, listen to it on something completely different. Listen to it on your shitty phone, listen to it on crappy speakers, listen to it in a car, whatever. Do something outside of your normal context, just to hear it and say yeah, I like this, and take notes as you're doing it, especially notes with timestamps, 40 seconds in, I don't like that hi-hat, that tone is really piercing, whatever it is, just kind of take notes. If you can go through it and listen to it and say yeah, this sounds, it's I can live with this sounds coherent, and also literally just sleeping on it, getting up the next day and listening to it and going yeah, okay, I can live with this. It's ship it. The other and the final part that I'm going to say is just having a deadline. I've been doing this brutal exercise called Novembeat, where you make a recorded piece of music every day for the month of November. And we're on the 14th, so I've made 13 discrete things. Some of it is me polishing something old, and I already have 30 to 40 minutes worth of material. Some of it's crap, some of it's actually pretty decent, I want to revisit it, but just the pure fact that it's almost midnight, and if I don't do this today, then I missed the deadline. So you just fuck it, ship it. So when is it done? When it sounds good, when it says something, and then also practically, what's the deadline? You got to ship something at some point, and if it's not perfect, it's not perfect. The next one will be better.
Brilliant, man. Thank you. And Drake, you're not off the hook here, Drake. So whether you like it, you're answering this question. Graham, what you got?
Who's that?
Graham.
It clipped. Oh, okay. Sorry, the audio clipped for me, so I was like, "Oh, where are you going?" Yeah, I would laugh and think that as prevalent as a lot of the music that I love from the 80s is, they are notorious for just like fading it out. Like I was like, did they not know how to end this one? Because it's an amazing song. I could listen to it forever, but it's just like a notorious slow fade out. I mean, I think that could be a decent option, but I think you would know if it's done if you like as previously discussed, if you feel like you've arrived at something and you're like, does this song make sense? Or did I at least express what I wanted to within the course of the vocals and the lyrics, you know? And then beyond that, I would just make sure that it's not irritating to listen to, like a few people touched on, you know? If something sounds harsh when it's turned up, then you need to start investigating a little bit, you know? Or, you know, if it sounds really sharp, you know, when you've turned the volume up, like it sounds too loud for you, then I would say, yeah, you got to get back in there and dig in a little bit. But yeah, sometimes it's literally just the deadline is the deadline, point blank, period, you know, because if you want to monkey around with the track for you could do that forever. You could do that to the end of time. You could work on a track for like 8 months, you know, past whatever potential deadline, just because you want to keep adding. But I guess if you always want to make it better, I would just table the ideas to make it quote better and just be like, fuck it, maybe later I'll remix it, or maybe later I'll do an extended thing, but for now it is what it is. And just, you know, set yourself a hard line and end it. So
Great, man. Thank you. Alex, hit me with your rhythm stick.
Yes, I'm very impatient, so this is rarely a problem that I have, but I think I work until I don't see any mistakes or some things that need to be improved. So basically, do you hear a problem? If not, it's done. I wanted to say something else, but I forgot, so.
All right, thanks. Well, let me know if you think of it again. Julius, what you got?
I absolutely second what was said by everyone, especially what Alex just said. And I try to see the process in 3 stages. First, the composition, the arrangement, and mixing. And I try to make sure that after each stage, I let it rest for a few hours or a few days, listen to it again, and as soon as I hear something that's off or I don't like, I try to correct it until it sounds right. And then I go to the next stage.
So therefore, you find that by your process, you naturally end up at there's no going back, and you naturally end up at a point of this song is now done, kind of. And I stress kind of. Yeah, kind of. Okay, cool. Thanks, Julius. Eric.
Hi. Great advice from everyone. I have a problem finishing songs because I'm a perfectionist and I keep trying to go back and reevaluate and fix things. But I think it gets to the point where you're just beating the same thing over and over again. So you just got to stop doing it. So I'm going to take this a little differently because the advice was good here. Finishing a song and having it done, to me, is once you get your composition and arrangements, everything done, and you think it sounds really good, finishing touches before mastering and getting your track mastered, get yourself a good spectrum analyzer and look at your bell curve. Look at your curve of your frequencies to make sure you cover the whole spectrum, for me. And if you're intentionally not doing that, then that's cool too. But take a reference track in of something that you like, bring it into your DAW or whatever you're using, and try to match to see if you have the bell going the same way. A lot of times it goes up on the bass part, you know, and then will drop down gradually, and sometimes it's just literally a hump, however you want it. So when your track is done, not speaking artistically, but more technically, you're gonna have a nice curve in your track, and then you can get it mastered and everything, and I think your song's finished, unless you need to go back and fix stuff like I do to nitpick. But yeah, different route, but that's a good way to look at it. And then make sure when you're exporting it, you're around -6 decibels, because that mastering is going to bring it up to where you want it. And to me, my track will be done after that.
Thank you, Eric. Drake!
Hey. So, my approach has been evolving, like learning as I go along. So everything that I create seems to, in my mind at least, be improving and evolving into something that I'm more and more proud of the more I produce. Finishing a track with a deadline is kind of different for me, like than like working on an album. Like if I'm doing a remix, yeah, I've got a deadline. I've got to kind of, manage my time to get it done on time. If I'm working on my own project, there really isn't a deadline, but there was a time in my life where I was writing tracks and they were shit and half finished, and nothing sort of came to completion. So I'm over that now, moving into the hardware realm. But first and foremost is the composition for me. I work on the composition without worrying too much about the mix. I mean, I need to be enjoying it as I go along. So the mix is really rough. But once the composition is in place, it's kind of an iterative going over, listening to it a lot on different reference systems, as already mentioned, from, your studio, the best to the crappiest system you can find. At one point I had this little vape that had a speaker on it, and it was a Bluetooth, and I'd run it through that. And if I could hear everything through that piece of shit, I knew I was doing all right. I don't use that one in particular anymore, but the thing is to finish the tracks. And for me, if I don't love it, it's not done. I'm not in that place anymore where it's like, oh, I finished a track, I'm awesome. Like if I don't listen to it and I'm not feeling the excitement, then I'm going to go back and work on it some more and keep working on it. One of the things that I learned just recently, and I kicked my ass that I wasn't doing this years ago, is the reference track thing. And for me, what my mixes were really missing were like bottom end. So what I do now is I bring in a reference track, something that, really represents what I want in the bottom end. And I'll load that into a track in Logic. And I'll go back and forth from muting my main mix with this reference track. But what I do is I've stuck a low pass filter on each, or essentially the master output. And I'll start at, 20 hertz, like really friggin' low, and go back and forth. You can barely hear anything at 20 hertz, but at the same time, you're looking at, a meter to see where everything's registering, and then go up to 40 hertz and go back and forth, muting each one, and just see, how close you are to that reference track. And then you can go in, by observing the spectrum analyzer, and you can see, where in the frequency range in your low end it's kind of lacking, and you can go back to, your bass or your kick and make some adjustments, and just by 20 hertz increments, just keep going up. And that's been like magic for me.
Thanks,
and
Drake.
I could say lots more, but I'll shut up.
This might be going on for a bit, so keep those thoughts there, because we might come back to you. And if you have more thoughts, fucking throw in. Grim, if I can go in after you, Alex, did you get your idea back?
Yes, I did. I think one good indicator that you're done is when the elements you're adding are sort of burying the old elements, or you suck at mixing. But besides the point, if somehow the other elements disappear in a bad way, that is also a good indicator that you're done.
All right, thanks. Grim, your hand went down. Did you want to throw in a last thought or a second thought?
It's actually a good segue to you. So I forget the title of it, but once upon a time, Zook had done an extensive series of blipverts that had to do with, writing lyrics or composition, etc. And there's like a true to life spreadsheet that's like, where's your drums? Where's this?
Yeah.
Where's that? Where are you in the entire process? So if you're more gearing toward analytical, or if you want like an actual a visual digital metric to go by that's in front of you, I definitely recommend that. But for the life of me, I cannot remember the title. So
Creative Process Management.
There you go.
Creative Process Management. And if you Google that on YouTube, there should be a link to the Patreon that's got that Excel file there. This is such an interesting topic. because we are talking about process versus emotion. So the brain going, yes, this is finished analytically, and the emotional response going, there it is. I usually know when something is done because I start seeing the video for it. And if I don't see the video for it, usually I have to take stuff out. Because all of those instruments are ultimately, for me, they are just conduits of an emotion that I'm trying to get across. And if too many of these emotions are going on, it's cluttering things. So there is a real danger here with going, when you've got a song that is just fine, it's great, it's done. But you don't think it is done because you don't like what you do, you have a low confidence, or you're listening to something else and you're foolishly comparing yourself to that. That's really for me, because that's what I do all the time. Oh, it's not as good as Peter fucking Gabriel, or whatever. Whatever. And that's the huge issue, is that I get lost. I get lost in the forest, and it's not even my forest. The song is all about you. This song is a forest. Get lost in the forest of this goddamn song. There might be one tree in that forest. They might all be dead. I don't know. It's your damn forest. In fact, more to the concept, I'm getting meta now, is that... So, I was mentioning before we went on a band I was in called Jekyll Switch. Best arguments I've ever had in a band. My God. We nearly got to the point of punching each other. We used to have this joke that Jekyll Switch songs would go to therapy, and the one song would go, I ended up being this really fast surf rock song, but I wanted to be this slow slamming song. That's what I wanted to be. But because Jekyll Switch were feeling that way this time, and they'd been listening to Rage Against the Machine or something, they turned me into this thing. That doesn't really answer your question. But what I am trying to say is that each song has got a character. You are creating a being. It's this magical fucking being that's going to go out and affect people. So you have to let that being be itself. And when it is itself, you start seeing it beyond a whole bunch of tracks that are getting mixed. And you start seeing it as an identity. And that's when you might start seeing images. So I'll pick up on stuff other, people have said. Like, every single person here, the response is absolutely correct. How do you get to Rome? Doesn't matter, because all roads lead to Rome. Didn't make any sense, that, and I apologize. But what I'm trying to say is that I think it's important for people like me who are very analytically minded to have some kind of process and a deadline, because if I didn't have a deadline, I would get nothing fucking done. And, I'll put my money where my mouth is. I will pay my mastering guy thousands of fucking dollars and say, if this isn't done in time, you can start fining me. He never does, because he's awesome. But, I will lay it down with a fucking cost on it. And, you just have to go, okay, the fundamental song, it's done. The fundamental lyrics are done. The way the lyrics fall, the way the choices I have made about these synthesizers, and that's, we were talking before we went on about how this mystery box, you're finding a map to a mystery box, so you open that mystery box and there's another map inside it, and that leads you to another mystery box. It's the same thing with the song. You have in your head to make a song to go to this certain place, but as you go through the process of adding the guitar or adding all of these other, it's going to lead you somewhere else, and you have to be open enough to say, when you get to the end of the songwriting process and it's led you where you weren't expecting, that's a good thing. And, I am all about, when the song is finished, release it. But sometimes there comes to a point where it's like, the next draft I'm going to do is going to be finished. So I'm going to stop now. And I'm going to leave this unfinished. I'm going to leave little tiny bits and pieces in here as not being done. Because first, no one's going to fucking know. And secondly, it's going to add an edge. So the song is ready when you feel the song is telling you that it's ready. Although people are going to disagree with that, and good, yes, definitely, please disagree with that. But you've got to, if there's a book about knowing when your song's finished, I suggest you buy it and burn it. If there's a YouTube video, don't fucking watch it. Or maybe you should watch it. I don't fucking know. But remember, the one piece of advice that I give everyone, yes, Carl, shut up, you're ranting. Fuck you all. The one piece of advice I would give you is that you are selling your opinion and your taste. That's what you're selling. Not music, your opinions, your taste, and your choices. The music is a result of your opinions, choices, and the decisions you make. Even down to the hi-hat, the mixing of this, is it done here and now? So I'll say something that's useless and say it's done whenever you want it to be done. Just for the love of God, don't drag it on, because the more you drag it on, you're going to kill the soul of that song. And it's going to become this overproduced, boring fucking thing. I should have stopped 10 minutes ago. Eric, save me now!
I'll do my best, Carl, but it's going to be difficult.
Thanks!
I kid. I want what you mentioned real quick too. I wanted to reiterate, and it's a problem I used to have a lot, and that's the instruments. If you don't feel your song is done, I always had the tendency to keep adding stuff to it, and really you might want to take stuff out of the song instead, because simplicity is better for the most part. And the more stuff you add to a song, the muddier it's going to sound. It's going to sound too much going on. So I found usually if I'm not happy with the way something's going, I'll just start taking instruments out or just muting them and seeing like, man, I really like the drum and bass on this song, but like this keyboard part's just not working. Then I'll mute them. And sometimes it's not even like, I'll just change the keyboard part and then I'm happier with it. Like after you do that. But yeah, subtraction before addition. What's the other, yeah, that. Also, if I'm not happy with the way a song is going, sometimes it's just best to put it away for a long time, weeks or a month or months, and then come back to it. And if you're still not happy with it, or me personally, if I'm still not happy with the way it's sounding, I just scratch it. I'll just put it into my folder of this is a beat or a song I'll work on further down the line. Or if I come back to it after that time period, sometimes I'm like, oh man, I really like this part. I hate these parts, and you'll hear it differently because you kind of forget what you were doing with it and you come back to it with fresh ears.
Excellent. Thank you, man. Drake, welcome back.
Yeah, fresh ears are good. Like I'll sit down for 8 hours, for example, on a Tuesday night. And the last thing I want to do is listen to what I did on Wednesday. Because I've got ear fatigue, I'm not hearing it properly at all. I'll listen to it on Wednesday and go, good God, how did this sound so good last night? What happened? And then I'll listen to it on Thursday and I'm like, oh, phew. There is something there, there's something there. And I work on, like if I'm working on an album, I'll go, work on one track, and the next session I'll work on a different track, and I kind of cycle through. For me, that keeps things fresh. By the time I come back to a track, it's like I'm excited about it again. If I'm working on the same track each session, I tend to get tired of it, which can be an indication that I'm going in a wrong direction. But I like variety, so I like to move around. And an important thing for me is to have somebody that I can trust to bounce it off. And that's typically not my family. I've got a buddy who, is into the genre, is into the music. We have common music that we enjoy and love. And if I think something's finished, but I'm not quite sure, and I just want to, bounce the mix off him, I'll send it off to him. And he's the one guy that'll listen to it and give me his honest opinion. And I know if he likes it, then, I'm not doing too badly.
Excellent. Thank you, Drake. John, I want to throw in after you. Remind me, Drake, you mentioned ear fatigue. I'd like to talk. That's a really important point, and I want to bring that up. John, if we can tear you away from your Moogs for a minute.
Nope, never.
Yeah, good man. Good man.
It's got to warm up for 15 minutes before I calibrate it.
Does it really have to warm up?
Oh yeah, no.
Really?
Damn, come on, you're a gearhead. You
does it have to warm up for 15 minutes? Does it have valves in it? Look, I'll go. Really? Okay, cool.
No, this is official instructions. But yeah, this is I'm doing a CB calibration, which I'm confident did not take place from the previous owner. So coming back to a song, success story here, at least made progress. I came up with a really cool kind of like 30-second loop, earlier in the year, by I think May it was, and it's like it really sounds, it's like it was really cohesive. It said something, and it's like wow, this is like better than like most of the stuff that I do. It's like cool, and I used it as like part of like a video loop. People engaged with it, liked it, and then they were like, awesome, where's the rest of the song? I'm like, that's a great question. I have no idea how to finish this. Ignored it frankly until like November, and then like a few days ago I was like running out of time, and I was like, okay, I'm going to pick up this thing that I was doing back in May and see if I can take it somewhere else. And no, it's like a 4-minute song, and it's like it's more coherent. It's not in a finished state, but like in May I couldn't take it anywhere. I was just focused on like creating that like one perfect gem of a thing, and it worked in that 30-second context. But then what? And so it was that kind of like time and deadline, being able to like come back to a song. So definitely want to echo that.
Awesome. Thank you, man. Jake, I just want to really quickly pick up on what you said about ear fatigue. Obviously, ear fatigue in mixing is a thing because your brain just goes, okay, man, I'm done. I've got enough. And you'll start hurting. Like bass frequencies start hurting, all of this stuff for me. So it's got to be quiet. I mix really, really quietly. And there'll be periods where I turn stuff up. But also when I'm composing, it's really quiet as well. Like really quiet. And if you're going to mix the next day, don't have anything loud. And if you're sampling, wear earplugs. Because, we smash metal and play guitars really loudly and shit like that. Firstly, it's for, the safety of your ears. But it's also stuff like they're going to get worn out really quickly. And if you listen to headphone music during the day, keep it quiet. Because ear fatigue's a thing. It really is. I saw someone's hand, but it went down. I think that was you, Drake. Does anybody else, Drake, do you want to throw in or...
Yeah, I was just gonna. I actually forgot to lower my hand, but I do have something to throw in. In terms of mixing, one of the tricks that I've learned along the way is to mix at really, really low levels, and then go to sort of a moderate level and make fine adjustments to your mix, and then turn it way up, make some more adjustments, and then when you bring it down, it tends to sound good at any level. So I guess what I'm saying is to do your mixing at different levels so that it kind of scales up and down. I found that helpful.
That's brilliant. Thank you. A really good trick for bass, if you don't have amazing sub bass, turn it up to a solid level and go next door and listen to the bass. Because obviously your room can act as a bass resonator. And if it does, and you don't have good acoustics, you can use that to your advantage, and you can have a listen to how different things are reacting with each other in the bass. That's got a lot to do also with the speaker and the room, but it's actually something I found that works. I'll shut up now. Grim, what you got for me?
Hey, so I just remembered, and I don't want to forget now that we got John and Drake on a chat. Alex had an issue with some kind of noise feedback or something from his table or his gear. Alex, did you ever get that solved?
No, I haven't yet. I still contacted people, but it basically is a high-pitched noise that's not coming from the speakers, but from my mixing desk itself, and it's probably some electric component that's dying.
Okay. So, yeah, I didn't mean to derail the conversation. It's just while I was thinking about it, and then we were talking, or John was talking about new like calibrating gear and everything, and I was like, oh, Alex, don't forget Alex. So.
Thank you. We could talk about that briefly. We sort of talked about it. And I think the outcome was take it to a repair guy. But thank you, Grim. John, do you know about impedance? Okay,
Nope.
cool. Because I'll wait till Rob gets on here and we'll because like, impedance is an important thing we need to talk about, and I don't understand it because I can only count to 4.
It kind of reminded me because the current conversation, because I'm pretty sure if you're trying to decide if your track is done and you list the levels, you're like, and what the fuck is that noise? It keeps creeping in.
Yes. But thank you for bringing that up. Does anybody want to add to that? Like, Mark, did that help? Did that help at all?
It's basically what I expected, but it's good to have it reinforced.
Right. You have to figure it out yourself, and every song's going to be different. That's
Sure.
I think. If anybody else wants to throw in on this, or we could talk about something else. I did want to talk about promotion and marketing, but I know they are the most boring things in the world, and you guys don't want to talk about that because every time I do it, no, there's always jokes in the comments, and you guys just don't give a shit. So we could talk about that if we want, or we could talk about. I think Vince wants to talk about something because I can read Vince's mind now. I know what you're thinking. I was right. Vince, did you want to
start calling him Professor X?
Did you want to talk? Did you say something? Because I now see Alex's hand. Do we want to throw the floor open here?
No, actually, if you want to talk about marketing and promotion, that sounds good to me. I actually enjoy those conversations because those are the areas I have the most problems in.
Okay.
So, well, I'm good with my creative process most of the time, but like when it comes time to put something out there, I'm like, how do I tell people to like, how do I get somebody to listen to this?
All right.
Like
all right. Well, I just want to put a pin in that. I want to throw it to Alex. And by the way, Eric, those fucking glasses are so dope. They really, dude, you look like Johnny Depp.
Thank you.
Alex, what's going on? Do you have something you want to bring up?
Yeah, I would have a question, but we could talk also about marketing first. So whatever you
Okay.
want.
Throw the question in, and then we'll talk about marketing. And this is just so we remember to get back to you on that question. Alex, what's the question?
Okay, basically, suppose you had a long day of work or whatever, and you want to make music, but your brain is mush. Do you have any strategies to cope with that and to regenerate yourself to get into a point where you can make decisions again and think clearly? Because I often have that problem. I want to spend the evening working on music, but I sort of can't focus, and I just want to watch anime and go to bed.
Yes, I do, and that's something I really want to hit on, and we will hit on that. And I just saw a whole heap of hands go up. Did you want to talk about Alex's problem, or did you want to talk about marketing? Those hands that are going to just, if you want to talk about marketing, put your. Okay, looks like it's been hijacked. We are going to talk about promotion first. Promotion. And then we're going to talk about it. Like, Alex, this is really good, and a lot of people are going to have input. And then the hands go down. Who gives a fuck about promotion? I'm going to go play with my Moog or make a coffee. Yeah, fuck you, John. But it doesn't say Moog on it, so, promotion. Hashtags. That's all I got. Going on to Reddit, like, firstly, what are the hashtags for your band? Hashtags are so damn important. What are genre calls for your things? Next, go on Reddit and research what subreddits have these things there. Then, start hitting those subreddits. But it's really hard with subreddits because you're going to get trolls and they're going to go out of their way to tell you how much they hate you and how much you suck. Obviously there's other playlists you can get involved in. Like, do your research, find out other bands who share what you do. because like the playlist that we have is really cool, but the problem you've got is my there's a whole bunch of bands of a whole bunch of different genres. So if you went through and found other bands that are in your genre and say that sound like you, because ultimately, like, you know, hitting people within industrial, it's kind of easy because we have a really tight market. But there's a whole bunch of areas outside industrial you can also hit. You want to hit them. Find other bands that are doing something similar to you and say, hey man, I'm putting together this playlist. I want to put you on it. All I'm asking you to do is you tell your fans that it exists, and all the bands involved are going to push it as well. Da-da-da-da-da-da. So we're all going to help. Because doing stuff, you know, paying a fucking algorithm, paying some massive corporation that doesn't give a shit is a waste of energy, and it's just such a fucking waste. And also do a really damn good video. Do a bloody good video and have a really bloody good marketing campaign. I'll shut up now. Does anybody else have thoughts about nailing and pushing your music to other people? Like, Alex, what you got?
This is both an idea and a question. What do you think about giving away free stuff? I know you sometimes give away free MP3s or like free digital music, but what do you think about maybe going to a goth festival and giving away like CDRs or something like this? Because if you have something physical with people, they will think about you and your band every time they see that item. Do you think it's maybe viable, or is it a waste of money?
Okay, can I answer that before I throw to you, Grim? It's a really great idea, but the problem is if you do that at some festivals, you will get in trouble. Like, it's way better because not many people have CDR players or CD players anymore. So if you're giving them a printout or a sticker that's got a QR code, go here and get this music for free. You know, then you've got something to go with. If it's a band camp, the good thing about a band camp is you are getting their email, because ultimately, if something, you know, you want to give them something for free and you want something back. So if they grab your music, you get their email. Then you can start, you know, letting them know when more stuff's coming, and they can just opt out. You know what I mean? That's the issue with CDRs. And for the cost of one CDR, you could probably make 10 stickers. And at least, you know, a sticker's probably going to go on the side of a filing cabinet or something. A CDR will most likely go in the bin. So, and also with our demographic, there's not a lot of CDRs and there's not a lot of CDs, in my humble opinion. Does anybody else? And actually, if you gave them something that was a really cool piece of art, like, you know, it was a really cool flyer or something. But the other problem is if somebody throws that flyer away, there's a lot of places where you will get fined for that. And sometimes the fines are really heavy and really hard. I'm going to throw that, Grim, over to you. Somebody who does a lot of conferences. What you got, Grim?
Yeah, I would say, like, as much as we pour ourselves into our projects, and as much as we love it and want to explain it or give everybody like the whole spiel, I would try to tap into your Instagram, TikTok, every other thing, like flood the market, but with short, concise, just brutal, you know, whatever track you got, you know, like you know, like I'll say, like, you know, Angel Spit does a lot, so does Gothsicles, and, you know, a lot of groups that I dig on. It's like, it'll be a splash intro, it'll be like 10 seconds of chaos, you know, or even 5 seconds of chaos, and then it's them talking, you know, hey, there's a thing, you need to know about it, boom. And then there's links, and then to get to people to a point where they want to listen more, or they want to be enticed to enjoy the long form, as it were, the long form of your art, you got to get that real quick, like the buckshot approach, and you want to get a lot out there. That's like, I've found a lot of success, at least in Grimm, to where I've whittled it down, like we discussed before, to a 30-second, like an elevator pitch. So I'd always keep that in mind. If I had 30 seconds to be in an elevator with XYZ producer or somebody who actually just gives a shit about my project in general, this is my thing. This is the description. Boom. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, I wouldn't pour yourself into, oh my God, this video has to be the best thing in the history of existence. Like, this has to be a super artistic piece. You know what I mean? But the core of it's got to be there. It's got to be exciting, and it's got to be visceral, and it's got to get their attention, but short. So, any rate, I know that sounded like a lot of cats in a bell factory, but short form, splash intro, a shitload of media sites, and just, this is my truncated small snippet of what I have to show you. I would recommend that.
Can I go after you, John? I want to tell you the really funny thing that happened to me on TikTok this week. John, please go.
Sure. And now I'm on brand. Yep. Oh, I found the sticker. Hashtags haven't worked for me, but I'm taking a slightly different approach. Because I can make the best music, have the best tags on SoundCloud or Twitter, and nobody cares. Because it's just like, it's just there. There's so much choice out there. There's so many people just glomming onto various hashtags. I haven't been able to. Maybe it's just I don't have the reach, and the audience, and so that's a possibility. The most engagement that I get on things is when I'm doing it as part of a participatory exercise. So, for example, I participate in Lines.co. They basically, it's an ambient and electronic music collective. They do a weekly, basically, like, here's a theme, make a song within these confines and contexts. And I get the most listens out of stuff like that. Like, I will get like 5, 10, 15 likes on favorites on SoundCloud, and like hundreds of listens. And then I'll make something in, like, for myself, with no direct destination, and I will get like 2 likes, usually from bots, and like maybe 10 listens. So it's like, okay, cool. So what's the moral of the story here? Doing things as a collective has greater strength than just doing it on your own. And joining collectives and doing things for a particular purpose. I also do sound and music for video games, and so when there is a video game jam, like upcoming, there's 7-day FPS coming up, and if anybody's interested, I can throw that in Discord or Patreon, what have you. And just like, if you want a new audience and you want to collaborate with different people, best way to get something used is to, well, frankly, get it used. And do it as part of a jam that has a finite, time period, or do it as part of like a weekly collective, like where you're producing a piece of music, and you can build up an audience that way. And at which point, then maybe the hashtag promotion may work better. But especially when you're small like me, it doesn't matter if you make something that's really awesome or if it's crap. If nobody's there to listen, then it doesn't matter.
Thanks, John. 2 things. This is why it's really important that everybody who is on that SoundCloud thing, Art of Rock SoundCloud, pushes it. All of us promote it once a week. Tell people it exists. I'm trying to change the order of it once a week, and if you've got a new track, send me the new track. I'll take the new track, your old track off. Keep it short. Keep it boomba, boomba, boomba. Secondly, really curious thing happened to me this week because I've been trying so hard with TikTok. I did a whole bunch of really short Carl fucking with the modular synthesizer showing 30-second, 1-minute excerpts from Diesel Priest, the new album. And I got a really good reaction on something, an okay reaction on something. On TikTok, I was getting around 1 or 2 listens. Most of them were 0. As it turns out, TikTok muted them because the audio was not okay with the copyright I didn't have copyright to play the audio as the guy that wrote the song. But wait, there's more. It's unreleased. So can somebody please tell me why the fuck TikTok went, we're going to mute it? And I understand that it's a whitelisting issue, but the track wasn't released. The track had not been uploaded to AWOL, my agitator, so it wasn't in the database. How? Okay, Vince.
Okay. I have a theory on this. I'm not entirely sure because it happened to me too. I posted an original piece of music with a video on TikTok and it got flagged. And well, it didn't get flagged. It got named as someone else's audio was used. Like someone else was attributed to writing it. I created it on my phone for TikTok and just put it on there. So I reached out to them about it, and they said all they can do about that is mute it. So if their algorithm picks something up incorrectly, they mute it.
Wow.
And I don't know why, but for some reason, certain things pick up as being something that's already there. It's got to be a specific tone to a sound that you used, maybe, that the algorithm picks up and recognizes that as a single note from something else because it's too specific. I'm guessing it's either too specific or not specific enough. I don't know. But their algorithm for that is fundamentally broken. Like it flags things it has no business flagging. It names original audio as other people's audio. TikTok's got a problem there, and I don't know what to do about it.
Wow.
And I've noticed that it's worse with a business account than it was with my old account. Because I'd done a couple of things that were original pieces on before I switched it over to a business account. Never had an issue. I have a business account, and because I have to have specific copyright clearances for everything to be able to use it on the business account, and there's like an extra little checkbox for the audio permissions section, they scrutinize everything so much harder, and they're wrong sometimes. And I guess apparently they're wrong a lot with yours.
Wow. Thank you. So I think the whole thing to marketing comes down to do something crazy, fun, and outlandish. Fun, where you're having fun, because if you're not having fun and you're smashing your head against a fucking wall, this is just gonna go, you're gonna go, fuck this, I'm done. Because this is the constant problem that we are having, it's just, so have fun with it. As soon as you do something dumb and stupid, everyone goes, yeah, I like that, that's really funny, and that's great. People like dumb, funny shit. But have fun with it. So music's all supposed to be about crazy kids doing crazy shit, so go do crazy shit. Have fun. Oh, excuse my language. Sorry, John. Yes. Does anybody else want to throw something else in there, or do we want to talk about Alex's problem with life? I love that thing. That's great. Julius, what you got?
I like how the music, it sounded like it was going to launch into a trailer about Alex's life. It's like, let's talk about Alex.
Yes. Julius, hit me with your rhythm stick.
When announcing your next release, I think suspense is an important factor. I'm planning my next marketing campaign right now because, like I told you, I'm planning to release my EP like early 2020. And I think as soon as you announce the release date, you could do like a countdown or something, or feed your audience on social media with very short snippets and say, hey, tune in again next Friday when you get the next 30 seconds of this thing. And like 1 week before the actual release, you could do kind of a countdown. I did this on my Instagram account. And a countdown fitting the theme of your release. I did it with my single Oprah Fire, and I took a matchstick and took photos of it in different places and used that as a template for 2 more days, 1 more day. Yeah, and the people actually liked it.
Cool. I love it. Great, man. Grim.
I would say in an effort to rebuke the shitty TikTok system, maybe you could do, you know, you could be either, paint your face up or put your still image up or whatever, and just put a single note. It could be like a bell toll or something that just goes the course of 10-ish seconds, but it could say, new album coming soon, new single coming soon, whatever, and then post a link to what you actually want people to hear in the comments or the description. I know it's kind of a long shot, but that could be the way to help rebuke the shitty algorithm on a bunch of platforms, where it's just, again, single tone, boom. Now that it has your attention, here's the thing, there's the link, rock. That's all I got.
Cool idea. Thank you. Alex.
Yeah, just had an idea. Maybe if you have somewhat of an online following, you could do a virtual release party, like a live stream, and I don't know, maybe have guests. I think if there's a community feeling, it will, I don't know, I think it helps, but I haven't done it, and so I can't speak well.
I love that. It's a great idea, but I always wonder, what would I do? Like, set up a Facebook event to drop the day of the album. What would you do? But if you're not going to play it live, what do you do?
Well, I think if you're gonna talk about it and have like something where it's like something that's interesting, something that's just in the moment, then I think people will show up if you have somewhat of an audience. Like if I would do it, maybe 3 of my friends would come, but I think if some of you would do it, there would be people, and you could have a conversation with chat. You can talk about the album. I think it could have, it could be great. And I've heard others do it, but I haven't attended one, unfortunately.
Cool. I love it. Eric.
Speaking with what just Alex said, there was a couple friends of mine did a collaboration a few weeks ago, and they did a live YouTube. It was a music video, a single that they put out, collaborative, and they put it on YouTube, and they had premiere our music video on this day, and they set it, and then you can go to it, and they had a party doing that. So maybe something like that. Alex was saying, you can I'll plug myself. I have an EP coming out on Friday, and my promoting's really bad. I think I maybe posted 4 or 5 things about it in the last month, but like I'm not gonna do it. But like maybe an idea like that would be, okay, it's coming out on Friday. We can have a listening party on stream. You can just be in the chat and stream your album, at like 7 o'clock on blah, 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 and stream it and be there, and just whoever pops in and does something might work out.
That's a cool idea. Cool, simple idea. Thank you, everyone. This is good. And I was talking to, like, I did a job for the opera yesterday, and we were talking about this, that this opera company that has this pull of hundreds of thousands of people, they're saying the same thing. It's like, it is impossible to hit people. It is impossible to reach them because, of the digital noise that's going on. And I think one of them actually said that we don't have cats. Should we have cats sing opera? I actually thought that was a funny idea and cool, because people would go, yeah, that's cool. But nevertheless, it's the same thing. If I want to sell it, get a cat to do it. Yeah. If anybody else wants to bring in a final word on this one, or we're going to... Yeah, we have 2. Okay, Eric, I see you. Then we'll throw to you, Vince.
Speaking of that, the cat thing, and this might be an idea too, but on Facebook last week, I had an idea, and I haven't tried it yet, but I got a lot of response from it. And that is, with the Facebook algorithm burying you without cat photos, I put up a photo of one of our kittens, and I wrote, I took keywords out and changed spellings of keywords. And what I'm going to try to start doing on Facebook is tagging people who I think want to see my music stuff. And I had people messaging me and commenting saying, tag me, tag me, tag me. And there are people I know that haven't seen my music stuff. So an idea of that too is tag people in your, and if they want to take it off, they can take their name off or add to it. But yeah, cat photos, because I put a cat photo up, and I had people liking my stuff. So the Facebook algorithm picked up my cat, and I changed keywords. And speaking of, she just came downstairs. So here's my little Annabelle.
Meow meow.
So yeah, so the cat photo worked. Cats.
Cats. Thank you. Vince, what you got?
All right. One thing I had to say that works okay for me. I mean, it's not great because I can't afford a whole lot of paid promotion. But if you're always promoting yourself, but like not always hard, because you don't want to be too pushy about it. But always make it a little bit about promoting whatever you're doing. And also, I have not had the same luck with cat photos. Hey guys.
Everybody was just watching the cat. I'll point it out. Although what you were saying was really important. But we were all watching the cat. And this is one of those situations where somebody says something dumb and funny, and then it's like that, like someone brought up Kitten Hole again. Like, yes, we are going to do Kitten Hole. But you know, maybe the world's so fucked right now, people just want to laugh. Maybe people want to see cat photos because it makes them feel better, and it makes you forget about life for a while. Did anyone get that reference? Because it's 9 o'clock on a Saturday, and the regular crowd wanders in. Thank you, Vince. And they know that it's me they've been coming to see. Forget about it. It's an incredibly depressing song. Great song. Piano Man, Billy Joel. I'm so sorry. I just said that. Okay, I'm going to throw now to Alex. And Alex, let's talk about this. How the hell do I make music after I get home from work because I'm so exhausted? This is such an excellent point. I have some suggestions. I just saw the Hand of Grimm. I saw the Hand of Grimm go up. I was about to say go up my
once
skirt.
Again, What?
No, the Hand of Grimm go up my skirt.
Again,
go, Grimm.
No, no.
Go.
I actually wrote notes on this one because I'm a pro, damn it. No, I would hearken back to the advice of the Zoog of old that channels through your blipverts. Key things. Number 1, turn off your phone. Number 2, maybe prep the day before you're going to do said thing, or think about, doing music, but plan it like a day ahead or build your space up, lighting, mood, whatever. But yeah, turn off your phone. Don't log into the fucking internet, and maybe just take a walk. And I know that sounds like really trite, but it's so easy just to be like, I had a long day. I've reached the intersection of F it and why bother, and I don't want to go anywhere. So I'm just going to park in my chair and stuff my face and watch TV, and it's over.
Yep.
But if you break that routine, if you come home, shut the car off or walk through the door, throw the keys on the table and go, you know what? Nope. Time out. I'm going for a walk, or there are times where I'm sitting there gaming and I'm having a good time, but it's like a half hour later and I know I have other stuff I have to do. I know I got to record some vocals for Grimm, or I just want to film something. I will literally scream myself out of my chair. As ridiculous as that sounds. I literally sit there with the controller and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? And I'll literally throw the controller on the fucking coffee table and be like, I have to move. I have to go do something. And it was a hell of a way for me to literally snap myself out of it and just say, you know what? Fuck it. We're done. Shut the TV off, and then I'll go in the other room, and then I go, oh, it's all my Grimm shit. Let's get hack and start filming some awesomeness. That's just, those are my few words of wisdom echoed by Zoog of time long past. But yeah, I would definitely recommend that. Just something to break routine. Do not land in the chair.
Yeah, and don't drink.
Avoid the chair.
Thank you, Grimm. Drake, I see your hand.
Yeah, I mean, this happens to me a lot, and it's a lot about setting the ambiance, like having lights that are inspiring. I turn on my lava lamp. I diffuse some essential oils to help put me in the mood, and I just do it. Even if I don't feel like it, I just sit down and I start working, and an hour in, I'm into it, and oftentimes I start and I'm absolutely exhausted. But as soon as I get into my world, I start to wake up and I'm having a good time. So it's like, for me, kind of about ignoring those voices in my head and just getting into action, doing it.
Brilliant, man. Thank you. I'm making notes here. Julius, what you got? Can I go after you, Julius?
Of course. Making assumptions here, but when you're in the state, when you sit down, you just probably lack the mental and physical strength to make music. And to overcome this, I believe the solution is to train your body and mind. And I have been there. So when I started working out, it became gradually better over time. And it already begins in the morning. Like try to race 1 hour or 30 minutes earlier, go for a run, and you will have more energy throughout the whole day. And when you finish working or university or whatever and sit down, you will feel much more refreshed when you are trained in that way.
Thank you, man. The blipvert that Grim was kindly talking about, I think is also creative time management. I think it's in that one. Because my internet connection is
well, sorry, part of it is church as well.
All right, can you do
church is one of the
It actually is church. Can you do me a favor? Because my internet is so awful, I can't. If I go there, I'm going to clutter this whole thing up. Can you grab that URL and stick it in the comments, and then I'll tell everyone. Yeah, the whole a preparation before you do it thing, like the day beforehand, you set up your workspace, you do all that stuff, but the video goes into it in way better content. The whole idea of, the preparation and the preparing for the process. Planks, push-ups, and walking. Like when you get home and you're exhausted, your brain is exhausted, not your body. So go kickstart your brain by giving your body something to do. Go for a walk. Definitely turn off your computer. Don't drink. Just as soon as you fucking drink, you're done. In my humble opinion. Also food. Like get takeaway, or those really cheap salads you can get, like a prepackaged salad. Have one of them. Because salads are bloody good for dinner. And you don't want to fill yourself up with carbs because that's going to knock you out a bit. If you have a bag of a salad bag and you just make the salad and you munch on it while you're doing your thing, ba-boom. Do not watch YouTube. If you do, the day is done. And my biggest piece of advice is get up earlier. If you're too buggered by the time you get home and you just want to go to sleep, go to sleep. Don't watch telly, go to sleep. Get up early the next morning, like 4 or 5, and spend 2 hours. Train yourself to do it in the morning. And those 2 hours, you will be amazed with help from Uncle Coffee, Uncle Joe. I didn't know if you'd get that. I don't know if they call Joe coffee in Germany. You will be amazed at how much work you get done because your brain is working differently. Thank you, Grim. So this is Grim just put the link to the church video. This is church on ANGELSPIT'S church video. Boom. Yeah, so that's my thoughts. If all else fails, get up earlier. That's what I have to do because after going to work, working, coming home, that's 10 to 12 hours a day. You're fucked. So, do it before work. Get up early. And everyone hates getting up early, but, if you're serious about your rock and roll and the religion of your rock and roll and your martial arts, this is damn martial arts. Come on. Get up early. This is Kung Fu. The only difference between Kung Fu and music is you use music. You train Kung Fu so you don't use Kung Fu. That's an argument I have with Kung Fu people all the time. Yeah, get up early. That's what I reckon. But that's the way my brain works, and I'm very lucky that I have a cat who will wake me up hours earlier. Does anybody else want to throw in some gems of wisdom at this point? That's my new song called Gems of Wisdom. Thanks, Vince. Thanks for your support and encouragement. Eric?
I just wanted to agree with you and Julius mentioned exercise. If you get home from work or university or whatever you're doing and you sit down, that's going to be it, because your body's relaxing. And it's kind of like if you watch back-to-back movies or something, you're tired towards the end. It's because your body's not doing anything. And if you get home, you go for a walk or exercise in the morning, even, like, you have more energy throughout the day. And that's scientifically proven. But yeah, the exercise and carbs will bog you down. Complex carbs. If you have simple carbs, like a piece of fruit or something, huge boost. Like, come home, have a banana, have a pear, an apple, something, and that will get you going as well.
Yeah, and that's another really crazy thing about lettuce is it's super high in potassium, and it'll get you banging. Mark, I see your hand.
Okay, so if you have access to the internet work and you can watch YouTube or something like that, I would recommend watching people messing around with the synthesizers you already have, because that gets me excited about going home.
Excellent. I think that's brilliant. My only itty bitty problem with that is that it's hard getting off that and then doing it yourself. So when you're actually on your way home, for sure, watch it. But as soon as you get home, fucking turn off the electronics. But nevertheless, man, I don't want to take that away from you. That is such a bloody good point, especially since you already own. My God, that's really good. Vince, I see your hand.
Okay. Kind of on the same note of what Mark was saying about, watch something or whatever, but not necessarily watching something. Find something that inspires you, an activity that inspires you, and set aside time at least weekly to do that. And then hold on to what you come up with during those times to bring it with you. So you've kind of got a way to store backup ideas when you're not working on music.
Cool.
It's kind of what I do. I do a lot of visual art editing and playing video games. Video games puts me into something that's rhythmic, so it's constantly inspiring something. Which, if you listen to my music, you can probably tell some of it sounds like it belongs in a video game and not so much on a record, but that's probably why I do a lot of that. Yeah, find something that inspires you, dedicate time to that so that you know you've got something to play off of.
And, thanks, man. I just want to pick up on something you said as well, Mark, about, looking at what other people, videos about your synthesizers, is that it's really interesting that when I watch videos about the Emacs, after 30 years of owning a fucking Emacs, I still go, wow, man, I should so try that. So thank you again for bringing that up. It was a really good point. Julius?
Another quick idea for inspiration. Nice. Trying to get a friend to kick your ass. Like have a friend who's also creative, doesn't matter if it's music or painting or whatever, and have this constant exchange. Like, I just came home from work. I don't want to do anything. Come on, motivate me. And he's like, yeah, go, you can do it. I have friends like this, and it really helps.
That's what's known as an accountability partner.
Yeah. I'm a really good accountability partner. I won't be encouraging. I'll use rude words.
That's great.
Alex?
Yeah, my problem isn't so much motivation, but just that my mind blanks if I'm in front of my keyboard and sequencer. But
Okay, can I address that? No. I'm going to let you finish, and then I'm going to address that.
Yeah, I think exercise might be a good idea, but sometimes I'm so tired after exercise that I'm again hindered or like too tired to do music. But maybe I should just keep it a bit simpler. And also maybe I should just start meditating and just connecting the internet, because I need a computer, obviously.
Yeah. It sounds to me like you're just exhausted. I shouldn't say just exhausted. It sounds to me like you're exhausted. And, that's another reason to really consider, can you get up earlier to do it? Like, get up, have a shower or something. Or don't have a shower. I don't know, man. Because, and if you get home from work and you're buggered, have a shower. And if you're really buggered, have a cold shower. That'll get you going. Do not ever sit in front of a blank canvas, a computerized blank canvas. Computers suck the life out of you. That's what Skynet devised them for, so that we will not be able to show any resistance to the bloody robots when they take over. So, and that's why you've got to have like pen and paper. And when you're sitting at your computer, it's your time to consolidate all these ideas and to put them together. And that's another thing as well, is that when you're going home, like I'm going to make music tonight, on your journey home, listen to the demo tapes that you may have been recording and the demo recordings, and you say, I am going to be putting these ideas together. So if you take a bus home, you drive home, if you work from home, go for a walk with your headphones and listen to this shit. And you go, yeah, I'm going to do this. By the time you get to the bottom of the stairs of your apartment, you will have forgotten, I don't feel like doing this. And it's going to be, I'm going to do this. And if you want the greatest motivation of all, age. I want you to imagine yourself at the tender age of 50. Looking back at you, and I say that because I turn 50 next year. Jesus Christ! I turn 50 next year!
And your gem's been flashing for a while. We're just going to have to take you out.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know, right? I've been running for a while. It goes through such beautiful colors, though. Get you, age of 50, and listen to you at the age of 50 saying, get off your fucking ass and write your fucking album. Because if you fucking do this now, by the time you're 50, you're going to have 10 damn albums under your belt, and perhaps, just fucking maybe, it will change your fucking life. Maybe your albums are going somewhere. So don't, let a nice, polite friend be your motivation. Have a fucking image of grumpy, pissed off fucking you for wasting fucking time watching dumb shit on fucking telly or playing your dumb fucking games when you could have been doing something excellent. Just a thought. Because I've got 90-year-old Carl screaming at me all the time. Fuck, okay, I'll get up at 4 o'clock and make music. Grim.
Yeah, I would echo that. And, this isn't, downing anybody, but I talked to so many family members, and especially recently, family members that I love to death, but they're like, oh man, I always thought about doing stuff, and I always wanted to play an instrument in the band, or I wanted to be in the fucking orchestra, or I wanted to learn how to shoot a bow and arrow. Well, fuck, man, do it. Like, if you're physically able to do it, do it. I know that's easier said than done, but to echo that point of the older version of you is be like, why the fuck didn't you learn archery? Why didn't you learn how to play the drums? Why? Was there anything that inhibited you from that? Was there somebody at your door, like a bouncer, putting a hand on your chest going, no, excuse me. Yeah, that thing you want to do, it's behind me and you ain't getting past me. There ain't nobody that's there physically stopping you. So it's like, yeah, do the fucking thing. Learn the thing. Like, get lost in it, because there's so many conversations I had as a factory stalker sitting there stretching out, getting ready for the shit show. And everybody's like, what'd you do this weekend? Oh, not much, went out drinking, played a little bit of cornhole, tossed the bag around. What'd you do, man? I was like, I filmed for fucking Grimm and did a bunch of awesome, crazy shit and wrote a bunch of ideas down. That to me was way more rewarding, even if it was me echoing that to myself. It was like, fuck yeah, you did something way different this weekend. Organically, artistically, creatively, than I think 80% of the world does on a regular basis. Yeah. And then all you left with is 90-year-old regret screaming at you, wondering what the fuck you were doing when you kept dreaming about doing the thing instead of doing the thing.
Can I just jump in there really quickly and thank you? you, at all of you at your gentle age, and I include Vince's empty chair, but all of you at this gentle age that you're at, if you could go back to you at the age of 18, what would you do? What would you say to yourself besides shake yourself and say, get your fucking shit together, don't listen to those bastards because they have no fucking idea. You have this ridiculous dream in your head, fucking do it. That voice is always going to... There, like I said, you in 20 years is screaming at you right now. If it could punch through the membrane of time and space and wrap its fucking hands around your neck and say, your wasting time is killing me. The waste of your fucking time doing all of this dumb fucking shit. Fucking chasing money, chasing girls, chasing boys, chasing dumb fucking shit is stopping my access to life and my access to my potential. You fuck. At least that's what it is for me. As you can tell, my head is a terrifying, terrifying place. And you wonder why my music is so fucking aggressive. Eric, you have to help me right now. This is turning into therapy. Help me, Eric. You're my only hope.
Save me, Obi-Wan.
I was doing Leia right there.
Yeah.
I had the
it.
things and everything.
Yeah, Alex, directly, or I don't know, like, but it does sound like you're tired, burned out, maybe, and burnout's a real thing. Maybe, as it was mentioned before, listen to your beats or loops or your songs in your car on the way home or your headphones. When you're at work, I mean, I don't know what you do or school, whatever, but when I'm busy doing other stuff too, I'll get my beats in my head that I really like, and then I get excited to get home and go with it. And maybe you need some, I know it works for me, like I need to be excited about my music, because if I'm not excited about my music and I get home and I'm just kind of like, all right, I need to do this, it's harder for me. But if I get home and I'm excited to do it, it gets me going. And another thing, maybe sometimes with me, my writing process is like a certain way. Like maybe I'll start with an instrument usually, or I'll sounds or whatever. Maybe switch it up sometimes, and that gets exciting. Like, you know, maybe start with a new drum kit you put together, or a drum beat instead of like, or like you don't play piano a lot, like piano pieces. Like maybe put together a piano piece and get going, like creatively, get your brain going in a different direction than what you usually do.
Excellent. Thanks, man. Drake, I see your hand.
Yeah, really great advice, Eric. I echo that. And you know, keeping in line with the whole like wasting your time and you know these devices. One thing that I've done recently, and rather than you know scrolling through YouTube and watching useless, you know, time wasting shit. I've installed some audio apps on my phone. So if I'm sitting in the car or if I'm anywhere and I'm you know, I find myself idle, I pick it up and, you know, if there's apps like Sunrise or Groovebox, I can, you know, just sit down and play with it while I'm, you know, sitting there kind of making best use of my time. And often I'll come up with some kind of, you know, an arrangement that I like, and I can export it, email it to myself, and you know, either sample it into my gear or I can break it down and recreate what I did, you know, in the app. So it's kind of like, it's very inspiring, and it's effective time management in my opinion. I find myself out there in the world and I wish I could be at my gear, but it's like, use this more productively rather than, you know, wasting my life. I don't know if that's helpful. But
That's very helpful. Use these tools. I see your hand, Vince. What you got?
Yeah, actually kind of the same thing with the put an audio app on your phone. I was gonna say that, and then he said it, because that's part of the reason I got a new phone, is because my old phone didn't have room to run an audio app and all my social media. So I had to get something with more storage to be able to put it on here. And Spotify actually has an audio app that's entirely free. It does have premium features, but you can use it free and you create stuff on your phone with it. That's what I've been using.
Huh.
It's fantastic.
All right, cool. Thank you, everybody. So this is so relevant, and there's a psychological side to this as well, and that is after working X hours and getting yelled at by all of these people, you become exhausted. And your brain goes, you know, I just really want to veg the fuck out right now. I want to watch videos about Depeche Mode and Emaxes and probably not doing anything. Oh, well, look, now I'm watching alien conspiracy videos. And wow, is that the time? It's natural. It really is. And my question that I am always struggling with, and I try and I've noticed that throughout the day I need to drop stuff on, I have to hit social media, I've got to do all this fucking marketing bullshit. But when I find myself starting to scroll through Instagram, social, you know, Facebook, whatever, I know that I'm starting to get exhausted. And my problem is that, and this happens after fucking working fucking 10 hours or 12 or 14, I need to go get out of the house, go for a walk, do planks, do sit-ups. And it's so hard because, you know, you're not tired. My body's not tired. My body's been sitting here all day long. It hasn't. I'll look at my phone and it will say, you've walked 1/10 of a mile and 3 flights of stairs. You know, I'm not tired. It's just my brain is going, eh. So, man, I feel your pain. I really, really do. But when that 90-year-old Carl is screaming at me, it's like, but dude, I'm tired. And it's like, I don't care, I'm 90. What do you know about pain? Because that's what 90-year-old Carl will be like. We need to make an app called 90-year-old Carl. Or 90-year-old you. That's the most horrible idea. So, does anybody else want to throw in here? Because this is a really good conversation. This is a really good thing. Does anyone want to throw in or change the topic or?
I just wanted to say, you know, if you do find yourself exhausted, if you do feel like you're burning out, you do feel like, you know, doing this stuff is a chore, take a break. It's okay. Forgive yourself. It's okay to get up, go the fuck outside, walk around, just get yourself out of the environment. A few years ago, I was basically commuting to work and listening to like a bunch of news, you know, in my motorcycle helmet, on like lane splitting traffic for like an hour each way going into San Francisco. And I was like feeling absolutely awful and ended up like seeing a therapist and doing so, and you know, long story short, just like, you know, it's like high functioning depression. Like, neat. Okay, what do I do about it? It's like mindfulness. You know, it's like, you know, there was some group sessions that were just like absolutely like just dumb shit. Like, see this strawberry, eat it for like 20 minutes, like very slowly, just feel it. Like, and it's like, okay, this is ridiculous. This is garbage. Like, why am I bothering doing this? But what they did talk about in addition, and what I truly think is like is the true sense of mindfulness is you choose what you consume, and that's just not food. You know, it's like that's media, that's it's the people that you're around, the conversations that you engage in. It's it's social media, it's news, it's whatever you are listening to. You control what you put in your body, and so. You know, and that you also control what type of stressful situations you are. If there are things that are, you know, a drag, you know, question, do I need to do this? Like for me, it was cutting, you know, changing how I did my commute, not listening to stuff. I cut out like all sorts of like news programs that were just reinforcing existing viewpoints that weren't necessarily expanding my mind. It's like, okay, cool. Like, it's not that I don't care, it's that I don't need to be hyper. You know, taking steps like that, being okay with going for a walk in the woods without headphones. Enjoy the woods, enjoy where you are. You know, take a moment to like recognize the situation out there, because you can get yourself in a very insular world, especially in the midst of a pandemic, which we are not over with. You know, even with vaccinations, not everybody has it. You know, different strains come and go. You know, people are refusing to do it. It's still here. It's still real. So, our social lives are impacted and are different, and we are definitely in a focused state. Get yourself out of it and forgive yourself. It's okay. This is a fucked up situation. And also, even if we weren't in that, it's still stressful, and it's okay. Take a break. Come back to it. Don't walk away forever. But like, if you are losing passion for the thing that you are doing, or you just feel kind of empty, or you're just doing it kind of like mechanical, give yourself a break.
Well said. And I know that it's something I don't like talking about on this because I'm not qualified to talk about it. And if it comes up, I'm not qualified to guide you through. But, there's a lot of post-traumatic stress going around now. And this pandemic has given a lot of people a lot of things to develop depression, and, mental health. And, I'll go a step further. Walk away from it for a week or a month. And if you can walk in a forest without headphones, my God, walk in a forest or the desert or somewhere without headphones. We are in a lot of us are in bad shape, and we just keep going. And, if you are showing signs of depression, we hang around afterwards and we talk. But it's not, you might need a professional to help you through some things, and this is so important. There are some Zoom gatherings. There's a lot of Tai Chi going on, and it's free. And Tai Chi is a fantastic way to find your center. And if these things don't constantly work, you might need to look into professional help. And I know it's expensive, but my God, spending a couple of $100 on the welfare of your mind now, as opposed to the next 10 years carting around this psychological baggage with you, so there's also that. We can Qigong, absolutely. Do we want to, we can keep talking about this, we can move forward. And John, I thank you again, what got said there, and everybody, this has been really good. And you're only going to get to being a 90-year-old grumpy bastard who can yell back to you in the future if you take care of yourself now. So, does anybody else want to change the subject? We could call it a day and hang out for a bit, unless somebody wants to talk about something amazing.
I said something quick to throw from the last thing. This is a little extreme, but it's possible your job may not be a good fit for you, the person you are now. Not to say you got into the wrong profession, but right now you may not still be the right person for that job. That is something to consider if you're coming home just mentally exhausted every day of the week.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. Yeah. There's this whole, combination like anti-work movement, which is, I think, coming out of a lot of different places. But it's like, it's good to recognize when you are in a work situation that you are being taken advantage of. It's good to to recognize if you're in a toxic situation. And it is okay to say no to things. It's okay to say no to people who are, to businesses that are exploiting you, or to a manager who is treating you inappropriately or unfairly, or not respecting your time and mental health. And one of the best things that I've done in the past year was quit my previous job and take a new one, which came with a different financial situation, way different professional environment. It made me realize that I was both exploited and underused simultaneously in the old environment, and much happier at my new job. A lot of people are doing it. It is okay to check, and there's a lot of places that are hiring remotely, and a lot of places that are just very happy to get people who are awesome. And I'm thankful that here I'm surrounded by awesome people, through this chat. And if you're not happy with what you're doing, someone else will be much happier.
Good call. Thanks, man. Eric.
Carl. Yeah, to go with what John just said, a work relationship is still a relationship. And if one is in a toxic relationship, it's no good for you, whether it's human or work related or whatever it is. It'll burn you out fast. And same with John. I mean, I got kind of fucked with the pandemic, but I quit my last job before the pandemic hit, and it was just not bad. And just like any relationship, you get into the familiarity with everything, and you feel comfortable with it, and you feel maybe you can't do better than this person or this job or anything, and you just stay with it, and it'll kill you. It will kill you. So get out of any bad toxic relationship you're in, whether it's work or people. And especially like John was saying as well, with the job market now and the way things are going, I think people are finally starting to realize their self-worth, and they're tired and sick of being treated like crap for low wages, and things are changing. And it's a great rebellion that I think the workforce has right now. And it wasn't even an organized one, which is the fantastic part. It's just people are fed up with shit, and they're fed up with being treated like shit. And I think we're in a great position as a workforce right now, as workers. But yeah, get out of toxic relationships, no matter what they are. Don't stay with them.
Thank you, gentlemen. I can't reiterate that incredibly important fact enough. And the problem with aforementioned situations is that you become programmed to think that it's all you're worth and it's all you'll ever have. And that has got to be a blinking light, a blazing red flag, that when you see that in your life, run as fast as you can. Because if you don't, you will need therapy, and you will end up with PTSD, and you will need to get rid of those bags, because you'll take it into every relationship and every job and every single fucking thing you have. Does anybody else want to throw in on this very important... Hey, look, it's Eric. I think we're about to close down, and Eric's just jumping in. Anyone? Hi, Eric. Welcome.
Hey, Carl. How's it going?
It's going fantastic.
Excellent.
I think we're actually about to close it.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Unless anybody else has something else they want to bring up, because we're pretty close to time, and today's been very good. It's been really positive. I hope you guys got as much out of this as I did. I really missed Diana and Adam, because I can't raid to MTV TV without them here. Because
I think there's like a virtual temple thing happening or something.
That's where Diana's at.
Yeah, virtual temple for the weekend.
Temple is happening.
That's why they're distracted.
Okay. Well, that's where we're going to go, is to MTV TV. And I want to thank everybody for their time today. It was just bloody great. And hang around. We're going to stay online and stay in the Zoom and have a chat. But please look after yourselves. Please look after your health. Because you're fucking worth it, and we do need you very much. So next week, same time, same channel. La 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 la.